one of the most harmful things about racism is that it has essentially made the truth controversial. I know a lot of Black people are not comfortable with telling the truth because there's a level of controversy in that truth. For instance, I made a video recently about how dangerous a lot of white women can be in this society. And there was pushback, which is weird because that's the truth. And over and over and over again, we have seen instances of white women being dangerous to Black people and people of color. And still, we find controversy in that fact. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. White women are one of the most dangerous groups in the United States and abroad.
I didn't know you were so devious.
I didn't know either. I'm going to have to start using my powers.
You got all these superpowers I don't know about. Yeah, I didn't know. Listen, I'm sitting beside, public enemy number one.
I knew I was powerful, but I didn't know I was that powerful.
Yeah. I think this is coming from the... have you heard about the incident with the boys and the bike?
At this point, we've pretty much all seen the video of the city bike incident between the Black guy and the white woman.
I mean, some people are extra. Why was she yelling help?
I don't know.
Why didn't she just... They're teenage boys and she's a woman?
Yeah.
Why didn't she just say, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were planning on using it again?
The Black guy claimed that he bought the bike. The white woman claimed that she bought the bike. It was a tug-of-war match. But notice how white people were laying in wait for some little nugget of information that was going to absolve this white woman of taking accountability for the harm that she put these boys in. Whiteness is a cult, and they will always come to the defense of their cult members.
Just like white people form a cult around their people, Black people do the same thing.
This evidence that people are now getting on here to push to say that this white woman is innocent actually doesn't prove anything at all. But it does prove the lengths that some of y'all will go to protect white women. It's wild to me how people still see Black people as one of the most violent groups, when actually the most violent among us has the inability to hold their community members accountable for the ways in which they harm other people. You know who you are.
What else are you saying this?
Violence. Mostly white people. I don't know that I agree with that.
Go ahead so you can get canceled. Go ahead and say what you're about to say.
I mean, I'm just saying, there are crazy white people, but I don't think there's as many as she's claiming. But I mean, I do see a lot of violence in Black people, and maybe it's where we live. I mean, I don't know.
What are you talking about? There's no Black people around where we live at. It's just crazy white people.
Downtown,
it's just crazy white people where we live.
When something's going on, it's the looting and the...
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go ahead. So whenever there's a lot of looting, I got to be honest with you. I see a lot of white people.
You do?
Yeah, I see a lot of young white people.
I see a lot of Black people.
Well, maybe just see what we'll see. Maybe you're looking for the
white people and I'm looking for the Black people.
I see a lot of white people when I see on TV, especially the ones that be laying on the street.
Oh, good, there's one. Oh, there's
one more. Especially the ones that be laying in the street. No, you're gonna have to run over us. It's I don't think that's a Black people thing.
For instance, I recently saw a video of a hotel worker being harassed by a white woman. He has to physically subdue this woman from harming him. Now, keep in mind, this is a Black man. And so he is physically restraining this woman because she's trying to harm him. And the police come. Guess who they arrest? You got it, the Black guy. Because individual white women are backed by a system that sees them as damsels in distress. When white women are perceived as damsels in distress, every single person they come in contact with, they are a danger to. Because if you by default see a white woman as a damsel in distress, and by default you see a Black person as dangerous and violent, it's truly amazing to me how fast the narrative changes.
There's no crazy Black people around us, but there are some crazy white people around us. So
there are crazy white people.
I've had to deal with a couple of them before. A couple of them are women.
One.
Well,
one lady.
No, there was one lady that was yelling at me because I was skating behind the dog.
Oh, yes.
There's a couple Karens.
Two Karens not minding their own business.
So I won't call them Karens because now I think that's a slur. But there's two white women, especially in our neighborhood, that don't mind their own business. So white people do this, but Black people do a little bit more. So white people have music on their golf carts, but I have subs on my golf cart. Now, I didn't have the subs turned up, but I was outside listening to some music. Now, albeit, if that's a word correct, I was listening to some country music because our neighbor is an older white guy. And so I was just being considerate since I wanted to listen to his music and just to make it country. And next thing I know, I see a cop roll by. And so now, in the neighborhood we live in, we don't see cops. Never. Never see cops. The only time we see cops is when people are speeding over the hill every once in a while. They'll sit out there to make sure people are slowing down. And so I didn't think anything of it. And all of a sudden, once he went by, it kind of hit me. It's like, I know this lady did not call the cops on me. Like, you can barely hear my music. Like, I barely have it turned up. We've already had an encounter with this lady about music one time before. And the thing is that the encounter we had with the music, none of the other neighbors could hear it because I knocked on their doors. And so she lives a couple houses down and decided she was going to yell at her front door to turn the damn music down. So then I proceeded, once I came and got her, because I knew it was somebody white, I wasn't going to go door to door to door because I'm black knocking on people's doors. So I came and got her, decided to got her, and we proceeded to go down and knock on people's doors until we found out who it was. Found out who it was. We had a little back and forth with her. Well, you had more of a back and forth with her than I did.
She's crazy. As soon as I realized she was crazy, it was over. Because I'm not going to stand here and argue with a lady who has no sense.
So, fast forward, 2 months later, I'm outside messing with one of the cars, and next thing I know, she's at the edge of the driveway yelling. I called her some names I probably should never call anybody again. But she was over here messing with me.
Yep.
I wasn't messing with her. And you know what I did? When we came in the house, what did I do?
She said, I'm going to call the cops on you. And he said, you know what? Go ahead. I'm calling them first. And he did.
I called the cops on her. You know whose door the cops came to first? They came to mine. And I proceeded nicely to tell the cop, you know, this is her, what was it? It's her second time then harassed me? Yep. Second or third time. That was the second time coming over here saying something to me. And so he said... You
even told on yourself. You said we contemplated, like, ordering through Amazon, like ordering her some earplugs and just randomly have them delivered.
I was going to be petty. Since I know the lady's address, I was just going to drop ship her some earplugs from Amazon. And what I forgot
and
what
some
I was
other stuff.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to put on the package. He said, no, I don't, you know, you probably shouldn't do that. He said, but I'm going to go over there and talk to her for you. Yeah, you do have some people out there that, you know, yell help. And, you know, sometimes, you know, but I'm one of them black people that I yell help first. I yell help on the white people first.
But like you said, like she's been giving us a hard time.
This is exactly what I was talking about in my video. We, by default, give white women the benefit of the doubt. It's what we're trained to do since birth.
And he came back and he said, you guys weren't kidding. I don't think she's all there.
And I ain't heard a peep from her since then. It's been what, almost a year now. Yeah, I ain't heard a peep out of her.
Spring and summer's coming though. We be out there washing the cars.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to fight fire with fire.